Welcome back to Gamers Graveyard episode 4. We got me, Caleb, Chase, Nathan. Reed's gone this week with he had to do something like hang out with his family. I don't know, some loser excuse. Anyway, Chase, what are we drinking tonight?
Yeah, we have the bee's knees. It's a gin drink. It's pretty simple. It's got honey, gin, and lemon juice. It's very good.
Yeah. The recipe's in the description below. So drink with us, you know? All right, topic number 1. What's your guys' wildest homeless encounter?
Who would
Who
like
wants
to go first? Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's nervous?
All right, I'll kick this one off.
All right.
All right, so not too long ago, Bryce, he used to live down in San Diego. And so while he was still out in California, we're all Colorado boys. We're like, man, we got to visit this dude at least once. And so, God forbid, we actually got a trip together. Pretty late time, went down to San Diego. And, I have a morbid nicotine addiction, unfortunately. Don't drink too much being type 1. So come off the plane. I was smart enough not to bring it because with the air pressure change and everything, Lord knows what's going to happen to my vape. So get to the Airbnb, like step one, get vape. So I walked down, walk down to the 7-Eleven. It's like, 3 blocks down in San Diego. They got them shits everywhere. And, 5 minutes in, I walk in there and what do I see? Just a feral human being, bro. I'm talking a ghoul from Fallout 3, dog. Just, and he's just rips the lid off the trash can, just like throws it, dog. Jumps in, it's so animated for this guy. Just starts digging through, rummaging, bro. I don't know what the heck he's looking for. I think he dropped $100 in there, like his phone. What does he come out with? The grossest cup of Lord knows what, bro. It just has like this floating black crappy liquid in it. Just this big old cup, dude. Just rips the lid off. It goes flying. Knocks it back all of it. And dude, shivers down my spine. Prefacing this, Bryce told us, he warned us, he's like, yo, just so you know, like, I know you've like had homeless experiences and like encounters and stuff, like, standard living in the city, but he's like, dog, it's different out here. And I was like, no, it can't be
so good, bro. It's just gotta be there.
I was like, it can't be that different. First day, like within 2 hours of landing, dog, it's the wildest homeless encounter I've ever seen. I didn't even want to go get my vape, dude, but I had to. And, what was I gonna do?
Have to.
That is really disgusting. That is horrible. Unexcusable. I've seen people eat from a trash can. Not like that. No.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I'm gonna piggyback off that. So, same thing, San Diego, California. This was my first, second homeless encounter, but this one was fucking different. So, just got there, been there like maybe a month. Go to the movies. So I don't have my car yet. That's important. So get an Uber to the movies, watch a movie, whatever, go back. Tell the Uber driver, hey, can you stop by McDonald's? He said, yep, no problem. Boom, stop by McDonald's. Homeless dude sees me walking in and he said, hey, man, can I get a coffee? And I was like, nah, I'm a dick. So I was like, no, you're not getting a coffee. So walk in and he's standing behind me, mumbling to himself, just rambling nonsense, not English, just so not, already I'm like, this fucking guy. So in my head, I'm like, if he thinks he's gonna fucking get a coffee off of me, no chance, dude. So walk up and I'm like, yeah, I'll take whatever, a Big Mac meal and Sprite. And the dude has the balls to peep up behind me and go, oh, and a coffee. And I said, so I'm pissed. I said, not that fucking guy's coffee. Do not get him a coffee. And she was like, oh, we're not going to get him a coffee. And they're like 70 cents. Bro, you ain't hustled 70 cents. You couldn't get 70 cents today? But whatever. So get my Big Mac meal, sit down the whole time, by the way, follow me. They give you the drink cup. I go to fill the drink up. He's behind, just making fucking noise.
Minecraft villager.
Bro, right. Unbelievable. So then I sit down, my tray, and I'm fucking mad. So he comes, sits down across from me. So I'm like, nah, bro. So I stood up and move and sit down somewhere else. And he follows me there. And I was like, no fucking way. So I'm like, well, I don't give a shit, dude. He's not ruining my fucking McDonald's meal. I paid good money for this meal. So then, just to be a dick, I fucking poured out all the fries on the tray. Like, you see that shit? Bet you're hungry, huh? You fat fuck. Uh, take a bite of the Big Mac, and then as I'm taking a bite, dude reaches across the table, grabs one of my fries. So I lose my mind, flip the tray. I was like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" And he's just mumbling again, just pretending to not know things. So I was like, "Okay." And then the McDonald's worker comes over, yells at me, says, "Sir, if you don't calm down, we're gonna have to ask you to leave." And I was like, "Me? I'm the paying customer. This guy's a bum." And she was like, "Sir, calm down or we're calling the cops." It's like, "I'm leaving." So that's when I told all you guys, like, yo, San Diego's different. They
They cater to the bums.
they cater to
yeah.
the bums. They
Yeah.
cater to them. That's my homeless encounter.
Well, especially McDonald's, right? Because you got to understand, you go to McDonald's maybe what, once a week if you're really going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Nah, that bum, they go todos los
That
dias every day.
Yeah,
Every
total
day.
tortilla. That's a fact.
Nathan, you want to go next or shall I?
I can go next.
All right.
So, craziest homeless story probably would be, so I was working a job where I was viewing security cameras. And I was watching like a downtown walkway slash alley, and it was a pretty boring job. So it's kind of like, dozing in and out of like paying attention. Long story short, I look up and I seen a homeless dude getting his head stomped in by another homeless dude. And I'll play the video. Like, I won't hold it up on my phone, but like we'll get it on here somehow so you guys can see. But this dude's just getting the living piss stomped out of him by another guy. Like, so instantly, like I perk up really fast. I'm like locked in. I got fucking my popcorn, my drink. So I had to run it back a little bit, watch it from the beginning. This dude's just walking down the side of the street, and he passes like another homeless guy, kind of glances at him, and then like he looks back again, and like I don't know if they knew each other, but one dude came up behind the other, full blown, just cleaned his clock, knocked him out, and as he was on the floor, just started stomping on his face.
Oh no!
So, I mean,
Like the
I'm
meme.
kind of ashamed to get like entertainment off of that guy probably getting brain damage. But like, I don't know. You guys will have to watch the video for yourself.
Yeah.
Let us know what kind of entertainment you get from it. But yeah, no, that's probably the craziest thing I've seen two homeless people do.
It's
Chase,
super.
what you got? How you gonna follow that
super
up?
hard. Yeah, exactly. To follow that up. Austin is pretty particular about the homeless problem. They try to vacate the premises. Plus, it's really hot, so in the summer they're pretty much not there. But it's Halloween, and Maddie and I are like, you know what? Like, we're not trying to do the full Halloween thing, but we enjoy people watching. So we went to 6th Street, and 6th Street, y'all went there. It's that super busy street that they
mini
closed
Las
off.
Vegas. Yeah.
Right. With all the bars. So we go out and from the parking garage to get to 6th Street is usually you encounter some bums. They tend to like meander around there because there's a lot of people. They might be able to like finesse people out of money. I don't know why there's so many bums there, but it smells like piss. Anyways, we have a good night. We do our thing, get some drinks, dance, enjoy the night. And then on the way back, we're walking towards the garage, right? And the parking garage we parked at is like on the corner of a big hill. So like here's the parking garage, and there's a big steep ass hill just like right next to it. And we walk up a small hill to get to the garage. And at this corner, we're crossing the street, and I look over to the right of me, and I see this guy walking down the hill, and I'm like, this guy is fucking lit. He had a good night of some sorts, or he's on something. And he's just stumbling down this hill, just like, and I'm like, damn, this guy's kind of losing his footing. He might, but you know when someone like tries to catch their footing, and
Yeah.
it
And then just run
basically
faster.
eventually, got him into a full blown sprint. Well, this full blown sprint ended where he just smacked his face right into a wall.
Oh,
Real bad. And he was
Did you help him?
Oh no,
No,
fuck
like,
no.
you just bursted
Damn.
out laughing.
That's
You had to.
crazy. And then you
Well,
just
so
kept
I was
walking.
already across the street, right? I wasn't about to cross again, I was about to
Yeah,
wait another
facts.
time. But bro, he ate the curb, and like some other dude was right there to help him, and that's where that guy slept that night. Like 100%.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
wake from that. Like he ate it so bad on the ball, and I was just, damn,
Woke
that's
up.
brutal.
What happened?
Right, he like
What
stumbled his
happened?
way into a full sprint into the wall, and
Oh,
man, like I know
You
being
saying?
homeless, he might not have health insurance and all that, but he was missing some teeth, certainly. It
Oh,
was,
for sure.
it was not a
100%.
good night for him, not a good Halloween for him.
You saying parking garage before we move on. I got one more.
Mm.
It'll be quick. I think I was like 16, 17 at the time. And I was seeing this girl. I want to take her out on a nice time. So we go downtown. We're going to like a real nice steakhouse around here. So going to downtown, so you got to park in a
Downtown,
parking garage. Yeah. So park in a parking garage. And my date, which was dumb, she said, can I see, like, I just want to see the skyline, the Colorado Springs skyline. Get the fuck out of here. But we walk up the stairs. Dude, there's human feces
Yeah.
on the stairs. On my life, dude. A homeless dude took a shit on the stairs, and there's another, and that homeless dude is not like away from the scene. He doesn't give a fuck. He's confident in the shit that he took.
That's his
So
spot.
he's
Yeah.
that's his
He's
spot. That's
pride
his
of-
bathroom, dog. Yeah.
yeah.
And he's around the corner, maybe 3-4 feet away, just hunched over taking a nap. I was like, this is insane. So anyway, that's one of my homeless encounters.
Did you power through? Did you like go past him to check out
Hell
the view?
no. I'm not stepping
Right,
over.
alright.
That dude could be dead, dude. I don't know. Not.
Not worth
You
it.
think
Not worth it.
the romantic vibe was still active as we walked past human shit?
I was about to say, like, when you walk in a parking garage, it always smells like piss, but it's extremely rare to see fucking a nice log
Actual
sitting
shit.
there, bro.
Yeah. Insane.
Oh.
All right. So what we got? We got to fantasy sleepers next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
homeless people made us think, well, who's the best football player? So
not necessarily the best, the most underrated in a sense,
Yeah, fair.
especially pertaining to fantasy, right? That
yeah.
The sleeper picks
So-
what wins you it ideally.
it could.
Yeah, true. Trying to get trophies, papa. All right. Who's everybody's fantasy sleeper? Who's everybody got?
Well, I got a rather basic one. And basic in the sense is I'm biased. I'll admit
Fair.
it. But I have good reason to pick this man. Chargers notorious for having Keenan Allen. 3rd and Keen, right? 3rd down, he's
Jordan
open.
King.
One of the best route runners in the NFL. I won't say he's the best wide receiver, but route running capabilities, he's there. He's open. He's open on 3rd down. You got Mike Williams, who is the best deep threat 50-50 ball. It goes to
When
Mike
healthy.
Williams almost 100% of the time. When healthy. That's a big point to my argument. Because they selected Quentin Johnston from TCU. All right. Stats in college, he's pretty good. 1,000 yards, 60 catches, 6 touchdowns in 14 games, which is respectable for a college career, especially when you're playing out of the Big 12. They're not known for having the greatest talent. And I would say, especially TCU, not necessarily a big wide receiver college, but nonetheless, this man, I would say my take from his capabilities is he gets open, right? He's able to run a go route, a fade route. He's big. He's 6'3", 6'4" on a good day, right? And he's a big man, but when he catches the ball, he has the nastiest spin move. His yak is out of this world. Yards after catch is huge in fantasy. He'll line up at the X.
Super
So
Cup.
you will have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen to basically distract the best players on the defense to cover them. And then you have Austin Eckler for the backfield. So what do you think? All right, you have Keenan Allen for the short yards, you have Mike Williams for the long yards, and you have Austin Eckler for the like dump passes, right? And you still got to worry about Parham, who's a big tight end. The biggest thing I think is Mike Williams plays such a physical game that when he's out, who's it going to go to, right? That was the Chargers' mindset when they picked him. And Quentin Johnson,
who's that guy last year? Carter or whatever, I think.
Yeah, DeAndre Carter's gone though,
Oh.
so he's no longer there, and
also not good.
Yeah, also
Yeah.
not going to fill the shoes of Mike Williams when he's gone. But Quentin Johnson definitely has that capability to fill the shoes. If you go look at his highlights, I forget. Chargers also drafted the TCU QB, but I'm spacing on his name. If you go look at Quentin Johnson's highlights, he's waiting for the ball almost every time he scores a touchdown. He's waiting for it to catch up to him. And the thing is here, he's not going to be waiting in the Chargers. He's not. Herbert's going to be delivering that dot. Yeah, it's going to be on the money. It's going to be ready for him. And I'm not trying to say that he's going to be first round like talent. Not at all. What I'm thinking here is in an 8-man league, maybe 10-man, he might escape into just waiver picks. Like
I think he's like wide receiver, late
he's like
40s, 50s.
In some PPR rankings, he's like at 100 in terms of overall numbers. But yeah, for wide receiver, he's probably in the 30s, 40s, which for an 8-man league, he might escape the draft entirely, which I think it's wild to think that the potential to get him in the late rounds, because he's got big strides, that spin after the catch for those yards after catch, a big goal route fade, something like that. And then when they're thinking the deep threat's there, you just throw him on a slant, and that dude's quick. He'll get some yards. He might score. So I'm thinking, by the end of the season, we're looking at a solid wide receiver 2 out of him, even within the Chargers organization, let alone your fantasy team. That's my sleeper pick.
I think he had the second fastest 40 time, second or third. I think so. His 40 time was up there.
His 40 time was like, it was like a 4 or 5, I thought.
4.4, 4.5, yes.
4.4 or 4.5, which is not extremely fast, but I think the thing about him is in pads. Like, obviously, the 40 times are weighed with players outside of pads, but in pads, I think he keeps his speed better than a lot of wide receivers.
Yeah,
and
fair.
That's going to play a big role, especially when you got to worry about Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. That's going to take most of the defensive talent right there. So I can't see, especially with the Chargers having a new offensive coordinator, I can't see him doing bad. I mean, I'm biased, as mentioned, but
the only thing I'll say about that is a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah,
100%, right? Like, you can only spread it so thin. But we're looking at Keenan Allen getting older. I have to admit that, as much as I hate to say, it's like he's going to be less dominant. If Mike Williams is injured, if Keenan Allen is injured, if Austin Eckler is injured, who else are they going to go to? This is the man. So certainly, if he slips into waivers, you got to have him in the draft. I'd be looking at. I'd say he's a solid 5th round. I know that's ambitious, but I would say he's a good pick for a 5th round.
That's a reach.
Yeah,
but we'll look after the year and we'll see Scary Terry, and then we'll see Quentin Johnson neck and neck and be like, all right, no, he's there.
Yeah, fair.
I think that's respectable, though. Yeah.
All right, who wants to go next? Who's got their sleeper next?
I can go.
Okay.
So also a wide receiver.
He's a bum.
I don't know that this guy is much. I mean, like, he's not really a sleeper. I mean, like, I feel like people expect him to do well, and he might be picked, in the first 3 rounds potentially.
Oh, okay.
Jackson Smith in Jigba. I think that's how you say his name.
What'd you say?
The Seahawks.
My bad.
He was the 20th pick overall. I mean, you guys know who he is from
I think it is in
Ohio.
Jigba.
Yes.
I think you said that right.
Yeah, I thought he said something different.
But Anyways, I don't know. I think he could turn out to be like a star on the level of like, Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf. To what you were saying, that is a lot of mouths to feed. I don't know what wide receiver shines in that offense. Like I don't know if they want him playing slot or outside, but I mean he looked good in the preseason. I haven't even seen his college highlights. I'm sure they're filthy. I read online that he set most receiving yards in a season for Ohio State and broke the single game catch record twice.
Did he really?
His time there. So
Ohio State's got some major talent.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So pretty filthy. I don't think anyone like really expects him to be a bust necessarily. So like,
You're just saying he's gonna be higher than his expected draft value.
Yeah,
probably. I could see like myself or someone else reaching for him in a draft.
I think Tyler Lockett and Metcalf kind of
diminishes his value.
Similar Charger situation, I think.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Seahawks and Cowboys play tonight, and this dude had 3 receptions, 58 yards. It's pretty good considering Drew Lock's passing to him. That's pretty
but hold on. I do want to say this. Drew Lock looked fantastic.
He did look good.
Dude, he threw. I don't.
Drew Lock shines when nothing's on the line. Like Drew Lock has played.
He's not going to start over Geno, but
don't ever say Drew Lock's looking fantastic ever again. Bronco fan.
I could see Njigba being solid. Like I think wide receivers as a whole is like there's so much talent out there, but it's tough to follow up the previous season. You're only as good as the last time you played, right?
I think it's wild that you guys aren't thinking. I think undoubtedly he leads the Seahawks team in receptions. He's the best receiver there, DK Metcalf included.
You think so?
DK Metcalf's good, but I'm a big Tyler Lockett fan. I'm a big Tyler Lockett fan, dude. Tyler Lockett's
I'm not the biggest Tyler Lockett fan either. I think this is his replacement, but DK still does DK things.
The Seahawks could be gearing up to trade DK or Lockett. I mean,
that would be smart. I think.
Yeah, actually,
like Njigba could definitely fill either of those shoes.
Yeah, I think you guys think because Njigba's tall, he's not going to be the best slot receiver in the league.
He's 6 foot.
He's 6'3", and he ran.
Bro, I'm looking at Jackson Smith and Njigba.
Yeah, I think he ran a 4, like low 4.4.
200 pounds.
All right, that's incorrect.
He averages 13.8 yards though.
He will be. I think that Jackson Smith and Jigba will be the best slot receiver in the league. I don't think it'll be a competition. I think he leads the Seahawks in receptions. I think he leads the Seahawks in yards. I think touchdowns go to Tyler Lockett. But his route running is elite. His run after catch is elite. He gets open. His hands are crazy. And his speed is ridiculous. He's the best wide receiver in that room.
Speaking of hands, Pete Carroll said that he has a slight fracture in his hand, in his wrist.
Ooh.
So he's an even bigger sleeper, I think, to your point, because people are going to see a questionable player
Smith.
On the not Pete Carroll, Jackson Smith.
I was like, I don't see how that's relevant. But
No, Jackson Smith is going to be questionable probably going into the draft. Maybe he'll be healthy. We'll see what the timeline's like. But when you see a questionable player, especially a rookie, you're not going to draft him.
Yeah,
it'd be stupid to draft him.
Yeah, he'll fall.
He'll fall for that. And to your point, I think he will be a bigger sleeper because of it.
He's going to be an animal. He's going to be an animal.
He's got 3 receptions for 58 fucking yards. That's pretty good.
I don't really care too much about preseason.
Yeah.
To say that, so just because you were like, it's not really a sleeper. People expect him to do well. His draft value is super high. So mine is Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is it's kind of weird to call him a sleeper because I think he's WR22. So people are expecting him to be a low-end wide receiver 2. I think he should be a mid wide receiver 1. So I'm just saying there's a lot of value there, especially after preseason week 2. Russell looked great, made a few good plays with his legs, made one improvisational play, made a few on-time, on-rhythm plays. Also, Jerry Jeudy seems to be his favorite target. Also, Russell Wilson on the run, at least late in the season, look towards Jerry Jeudy. Also, I'm pretty sure that Jerry Jeudy was wide receiver 3 if you were taking into account only the last 3 weeks of last season, which would be after Nathaniel Hackett got fired.
Fair. That's a good point.
And yeah, so that would be, Russ being a little more improvisational, which based off preseason week 2, not so much week 1. It looks like that's the way Russell's going to lean, is more to what he looked like in Seattle. Plus, he lost.
Yeah, he was running a lot more.
I've seen reports that he lost 18 pounds. I've seen reports that he lost 15 pounds.
I thought he gained
somewhere in
weight.
that range.
Yeah, I thought he gained.
Judy lost weight.
Jeudy. No.
Okay,
Russell.
yeah.
Russell
I
lost
thought Russell gained 30 pounds of muscle, though. I thought I heard that too somewhere.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Nah, Russell lost 15 pounds. Look at Russell. Russell's
He looks
smaller.
what small? He looks kind of
stacked. Either way, I think
yeah.
To your point, I think if Russell plays better, Jerry Jeudy had already played substantially better than his previous year. Was he injured his rookie year? He was, right?
Jerry Jeudy had like a couple of 30-point games last year. He
definitely balled out on a couple occasions. And I could see him being a favorite target, especially since Tim Patrick's just not a player.
Tim Patrick's not there. I think Courtland Sutton will find himself less and less a part of the offense. I think Denzel Mims is. That's the reason we drafted Denzel Mims, is to take Courtland Sutton's role.
Mims.
I think that really the only solid wide receiver. I guess I'm not a huge Courtland Sutton guy. I don't see what he brings to an offense, which sounds wild to say because he has been our most productive receiver. But if you're not on time with Courtland Sutton, then you're not getting it done.
Yeah.
And I don't think Russell Wilson is capable of being in an offensive system where you're on time.
Yeah, he's always kind of had receivers that dog and chase after balls and stuff.
Right. Yeah, he's always been scrambling too. At Seattle, they never prioritized an offensive line, so he's always delayed. The play was just in theory, right? They just run those routes in theory, but he's scrambling past the fucking completion of the route to where people are just moving where he calls it out. I feel like you need more of a free-flowing offense. Whether Jerry Jeudy can do that, though, is a different question.
Jerry Jeudy likes to complain.
I don't give a fuck. I think this year he puts up somewhere around 1,400 yards. I think Jerry Jeudy is a solid
1,400.
Yeah,
I think Jerry Jeudy is a
K.
I agree. No, I agree. I think he's gonna be a solid wide receiver 1. I think you guys are forgetting he was a Biletnikoff Award winner, so he was the best wide receiver in college.
But as Broncos fans, we've also been saying this for a couple of years now. Just Jerry Jeudy.
I agree.
But it's time. Like I think he is slept on in the fact that
make a break.
The expectation
genuinely
is set
for sure
to the point where people almost expect him to not do as good as he should, and if he plays to above his expectation, he's gonna ball out. The expectation is 1,000 yards a season for him.
I think, I'm thinking 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns, and somewhere around 85 receptions. I think he has a fucking insane year because I don't see another player that is going to improvise other than Denzel Mims along with Russell Wilson. And the in rhythm throws are going to go to the tight end like we saw last year. They're going to be screens and stuff like that. Slants are going to go to Courtland Sutton. Like the in rhythm throws are going to be outside of Courtland Sutton or outside of Jerry Jeudy. The thing is, I don't think there are going to be many plays that are going to be in rhythm. I think it's going to be
that offensive line looked pretty fucking bad in the preseason.
Week 1, week 2, it looked good.
Week 2, they
looked better. Yeah,
especially against the Niners defensive line. They did rest a lot of the starters though. But
of course,
going back on that, I think like if I'm Sean Payton and I'm staring down Javonte, like.
If you want to know a hot take, honestly, Javonte, and I love Javonte. He had a cool year. I don't think Javonte carries the majority of the offense. I would be surprised if he cracks 250. I think
Samaje Perrine's averaging 8 yards a carry right now.
Yeah, I think it's P. Ryan. I think Samaje P. Ryan will look good. Javonte will look good. I think the guy that led all of college football in running yards and went undrafted and runs a 4.4 and
Yeah.
is going to be our return man, fuck out of here. He's got a touchdown in week 1 and week 2 of the preseason. He's looked great through contact. He finishes runs. His vision has been spectacular. He's running in between the tackles and outside the tackles. And I think that's going to be
Can he catch?
our guy. You would assume so. Small dude running a 4.4. I really don't know. But
So, I mean, Samaje can catch, so that's why I expect him to take lead back at some point.
No,
And
I
that's
don't
why
know
we
about
let
lead
Philip
back,
Lindsay get
but
the boot.
Definitely a third down back. If you can catch, you're a third down back.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's what he
I just
was
wanna
for the
point out
Bengals.
that this conversation has now moved into Broncos running back and Broncos talk.
All right,
no
that's
longer
my
talking
fault.
about
That's my
sleepers.
fault. I
No,
mentioned
no,
Javonte because
I mean, you guys are dedicated
Yeah.
Broncos fans. I totally get it.
well then,
Well,
Caleb, let's hear your sleeper.
At,
yeah,
at
Caleb
that,
goes.
so
Let's talk about more
unfortunately,
Broncos.
my father no. So my father was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and that was painful to watch growing up because the Broncos weren't good when the Steelers were good, and I got to watch them at one point have the most Super Bowl rings in the league, and he just got to throw that in my face. And what could I say? Well, Peyton Manning hadn't won a Super Bowl yet. We didn't have our third ring. We were bad.
Yeah, but Tim Tebow beat them in the playoffs. Right?
Hey,
So-
that was a spectacular moment. Yeah, he didn't enjoy that. But so because of all this, I have a really watchful eye for the Steelers. And I knew Kenny Pickett going to Steelers was probably going to work out really well for him because that dude's a Pittsburgh boy through and through. That's his city already. Walked into that NFL team with confidence knowing that. And he looks really good. I think he could be a sleeper in some regards, but he's not who I pick. It's that man, George frickin' Pickens, bro. That guy's a dog. I expect an Odell Beckham Jr.-esque season number 2 from him. Wide receiver 2 or wide receivers in their second season in the NFL always ball out statistically. He looked like an absolute animal last year. You're watching him in preseason and practice. I'm sure most of you guys out there have seen that absolutely ridiculous OBJ catch. That's why I reference that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Insane. I think he's going to dog down that division. And I mean, you look at his division too. Who's the corners? The Bengals lost their safeties. Their secondary is pretty bad in my opinion. Not that their defense is bad, but I think their secondary got worse. Ravens, they got Marlon Humphrey. I think that's the only genuine threat in that whole division, I think, for the most part. So out of 2 games out of 6 a year, you got free pickings, in my opinion. Free pickings for George Pickens. I think he's going to tear through the division. And I think he's also going, looks like 81st overall in most drafts.
Really?
Yeah. And he's also projected
like
wide receiver 40-ish. And I think that's way too. He's going to be a top 10 wide receiver.
Low. Yeah.
Stupid.
That's
that guy is so
top 10. Top 10's a bold prediction.
He's going to
I'm
be
not saying
top
that
10.
it's wrong, but it's bold.
I could see it
He's gonna be top 10.
because I would say George Pickens looked really, really good last year.
Yeah.
He was not the limiting factor. It was Kenny, right?
Kenny started picking it up, man. He looks
He
good.
He did. But I'm saying if you could get his top end next season as his low end and see a great production out of him, George is going to be the man. He will be the man.
I mean, who did Odell Beckham Jr. have? Fucking a broken Eli Manning.
Yeah,
when he was going nuts.
For throwing
but Odell was different though. George Pickens, great with ball skills. Odell was great at route running and really rack.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I know he got famous for all the ridiculous catches he made, and he did make ridiculous catches. But in terms of offensive production, it was route running. His route running was fucking.
It was yeah. George Pickens doesn't have comparable route running, but he is Himothy. So
I mean, the biggest thing about points production is ideally you want to see your player touch the end zone once a game.
Get touchdowns.
I mean, and that's a huge expectation to achieve 14.
Yeah, that's 7
touchdowns. That's insane season. But that's the goal in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, Cooper Kupp had his crazy season more because he got a touchdown or 2 a game. He also got mad yards, but that level of touchdown consistency was just insane.
I would say in a PPR league, certainly George will be right there because he might not get a ton of yards, but he's getting a lot of receptions.
Disagree.
I think in PPR he might lose a little bit of value. Yeah,
He's got more receptions than your boy,
Who?
Jerry
Judy.
Jerry
Jeudy.
Judy?
Yeah, I mean he's
Last
the
year,
number
yeah.
one though.
Yeah, but yeah, number one plus also. Come on, bro. We watched the Broncos last year. It was pathetic.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
Russell
Nathaniel
Wilson was
Hackett's
the.
offense.
I think Russell Wilson was rated like the 31st quarterback in the NFL.
Jesus,
I think
aren't there
Russ is a good
32?
sleeper pick too, though.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, he. Yeah, I'm
No,
honestly
no, don't
surprised
get
that-
into that. He's not
Oh,
that.
all right.
No, Nathan, you're fine. I was talking about Caleb's statement.
No, I mean, I was gonna say I'm honestly surprised that no one said Russell Wilson as a sleeper pick because
I think he's a solid.
I mean after his performance last year, really the only place he can go is up. So
Yeah,
Russell Wilson is equivalent to going to adopt a pet and you pick the ugliest one, right? You're like,
pick the
I think
juvenile.
I really do. I really, in my heart, think Broncos sweep the Chargers this year.
sweet.
Ooh,
Sweet.
I think-
Oh, no,
I think,
I guarantee we win. We win at Mile High.
Mm.
I guarantee that. I'm Chargers are not a home
We'll see.
team. I'll never
know-
never say that, but I
think,
think we could pull it off.
piggybacking off of Russell Wilson, I think it's also fair to say a potential fantasy sleeper in general too would just be quarterbacks. I think last year's going to make a lot of people freak out about the quarterback position because it was definitely a weird year where like you didn't have a top 5 quarterback. You were in a tough position. And I do not think that'll happen again this year.
I want to go off that statement and say I don't understand the rationale with fantasy. I understand in theory the quarterback position is more replaceable than say a tight end or a running back or a wide receiver because the drop off for those positions is greater.
It's also
But
really
if you
matchup
look at
dependent.
If you look at the points that a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen puts up, you're like, what? Why wouldn't you draft him first round? And I'm not saying do draft him first round, but like second round sounds reasonable for a great quarterback.
I mean,
yeah, and people do be doing that though.
But
yeah,
those
nowadays.
people are
For
smart.
a,
That's
I mean,
what I think.
for a Patrick or a Josh Allen, like people will definitely grab second.
Reaching,
round. I mean, some
yeah.
people still go first round.
That's not a reach to me. That's almost like a expectation at this point. I just don't understand the rationale with fantasy. Like we understand that the running back is in a dog shit position. Wide receivers, they're sort of abundant. Like in PPR, that you could get someone who scores a lot, or you get someone who catches a lot, and they could see equivalent points. The tight end position is where you get like, all right, now you're talking. If you take a top 5 tight end, you're talking 100 points. If you take a bottom 5 tight end, you're talking like 50 points. Like,
real quick, so you could expect the top 5 to do top 5 things like they did last year, but you don't think a dude like Trevor Lawrence is going to take another leap forward into being a top level type quarterback? And that's another guy to add to the bunch. I think there's just dudes that are going to join that level this year. And Trevor Lawrence is my best example. I think Russell Wilson's going to get back to there. I think Dak Prescott, he's going to have a good year if the Cowboys want to be good.
You could be right in the fact that like quarterbacks were kind of in a strange position.
I think it was a unique year.
Yeah, I think everyone looks at Patrick Mahomes like he's the golden boy, and everyone wants to be him. Everyone wants to have him, but you can't. There's only one of him. But there's Josh Allen. He's damn close. Lamar Jackson on a good year. He's damn close.
Joe Burrow.
For fantasy production.
For fantasy production, Lamar Jackson's crazy.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you were saying just pure talent. My bad.
No.
Yeah, I would like to say this. One, I think Dak Prescott has a top 5 QB fantasy year.
Oh, really?
100%.
Oh,
that offense is loaded. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And the things that Dak Prescott needs to be successful is successful. It's there.
Bro, we didn't even talk about Tony Pollard. Bro, Tony Pollard's about to go off this season, eh?
We'll see. I think he's
got
he's still got to split carries. But QB1, don't worry about it. It's going to be Justin Fields. So if you're like, oh, I want Patrick Mahomes,
I've heard that.
Take QB2, which is cool. I'll take QB1, and I appreciate you for it.
Wow.
Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback in fantasy, you're saying?
I've heard a couple of takes on that. Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because DJ Moore destroys zone coverage. Against man, he's good. Against zone coverage, he's great. That's why he was productive at such a short stature. And athleticism is good, but not elite. usually, I mean, he just tears up zones. He's really smart. He's a good route runner. He sits in zone coverage well. He finds the soft spot. To take away DJ Moore's productivity, which is the smart thing for a defense to do, you're going to switch to man, which allows the running game for the quarterback to open up more because the DBs obviously turn their back. That's when running quarterbacks get their chance to shine is against man defense. Justin Fields is obviously the most explosive running quarterback the NFL has ever seen.
Over Lamar Jackson.
Over Lamar.
I think running wise, yeah.
Wow. I mean, like,
I don't know
he
why you
has
say
too
that,
many.
though.
Lamar's shite.
Justin Fields was a top 10 quarterback last year.
Lamar improvises. Justin Fields has designated plays that are designed as runs.
Yeah,
There's a
What?
difference there.
You switch those. Lamar has designated plays that are run. Lamar runs almost the whole offense out of pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar is essentially a running back who can throw the ball, right? I mean,
Incredibly well.
how can
But
you
he
say
can throw
that?
it really well. Yeah.
How can you say that Justin Fields is better? I mean, I just don't.
Justin
More
Fields is like
explosive?
a better
Or-
running back who
yeah,
can throw the
more
ball, not as
explosive.
good.
I think he was quarterback 9 last year in fantasy. And who did he have
Which
on
is
his team
good.
again?
I
But
mean-
who was on his team though?
That's what I mean. There was no threat other than Justin Fields and his legs. And Justin Fields' arm talent is not elite by any means. In my opinion, I hope that he proves me wrong, but in my opinion, it's not anywhere close to elite. It's his legs. And when you're looking at fantasy production, you're probably hoping that a quarterback has legs over arms, and nobody has it like Justin Fields. Lamar Jackson, we've seen Lamar Jackson get his run ability taken away from him, especially in big moments against good defenses.
Playoffs, yeah.
I would
we
like
have
to
yet
mention,
see Justin
if I
Fields get it.
could, the Chargers played him in the playoffs, and fucking
Destroyed him.
Yeah.
Well, what we did is we took out a linebacker and put in a third safety position against Lamar and said, "Hey,
They
he's
ruined him.
fast. We'll put in fast players." Shut
Yeah.
him down bad, major.
Remember
bad.
you tried that the next week. What happened?
No. We tried that because our linebacker was injured.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick just
Kind of
fucking
forced to.
ate that for breakfast.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
bad. I digress, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
I don't know about Justin Fields. I'm
No,
indifferent.
I think
You're
he'll be
about
top
to.
5. I don't know about better than Patrick Mahomes in fantasy, but I think top
Yeah,
5.
you're
I
wild
don't.
for that.
Who was the number one last year
I think it was Patty.
over Josh Allen? Was it really?
I think so.
I think it was Patty Hurts than Josh Allen, if I remember correctly, but I could be misremembering this.
I feel like Hurts was first.
He might have
Totally
been.
forgot that guy existed.
He's Himothy as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts will be elite, but them taking away the QB sneak rule is going to take away. I
They
don't know,
didn't do
nothing
that.
crazy, but
They didn't do that.
What's the QB sneak rule?
That also didn't go through.
I thought it did. I thought you're not allowed to have two people. I thought you were not allowed to have two people push the quarterback. Honestly, I don't think it's going to
I
make a
don't think they-
huge difference.
Yeah, I don't think that was a
Regardless.
Players Association
Yeah,
vote, and it
yeah.
didn't go through. I think.
Patrick Mahomes
Hmm.
was the number one player, not as a quarterback in fantasy. That goes to my point. Number one overall pick should be Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion. Second was Josh Allen
You're
as a
tripping.
quarterback. Third was
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
Okay, so that's what it was.
Joe
Well-
Burrow. Then I digress. But you get the point. Like,
Yeah.
no one can manufacture.
If you take
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes first, and I take Jay Jetta, and I wait till the 4th round to get
Get Fields.
Josh Allen,
Oh
and then
God.
it's like,
Yeah.
and then now what?
Josh Allen's
you-
going in the
you get a-
second, but-
Yeah.
You get a 2-point advantage at quarterback, and I get a 15-point advantage at wide receiver.
It's like 14.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap up fantasy talk. I want to bring us to the next topic, which is I don't think a lot of people know about this, but I find it fascinating. There's a war right now between two nuclear-powered countries, China and India. Both these countries have nukes, both pretty advanced militaries. Both of them right now are fighting a war for a mountain range, and I think that it's a total of 1 mile each way, so a total of 2 miles of a border dispute, because China's map says that our border's there. They're like, well, our map says that our border's over there. They sat down and had an agreement that we're going to go to war with the rule, no projectiles, no guns, no bows and arrows. And this is today. You know what I'm saying?
Soon.
As we're talking,
Dude, yeah.
people are getting clubbed in the head with baseball bats. I want to know what would you do if you were standing guard and you see a group of fucking Chinese people walking up with sledgehammers and you're like, fuck, dude, and you got sticks and you see your buddy's head get fucking clobbered. What are you doing? This is a true story, by the way.
21st century.
New York
You're
Times
gonna have to
reported
you're
on
gonna
it.
have to clip that article because that is so hard to believe.
It's called the line of actual control.
Yeah, popular
Right now.
Popular Mechanics did an article about them using like medieval weaponry, basically like bats with spikes in it and like crowbars and
That is baffling.
yeah.
Yeah.
It says
The New
New
York
Delhi
Times reported on
deployed
it.
approximately 50,000 troops.
Yeah.
Jesus, bro. 50.
There's
This
a
is medieval warfare.
war.
Yeah.
Just sprinting at your enemy with a fucking baseball bat.
I think that's totally fair. It may not in the grand scheme of things, it may not be good in terms
Joe.
of like the loss of human life. But
yeah,
like if
bro.
you win a war in terms of just brute manpower,
I mean, it makes-
fucking big clubs and shit, like you won that war fair and square.
Yeah.
You didn't win it with
mean,
scientific knowledge or
more humane
technical
than
advancement.
bombs.
You won it with big humans eating beef and shit. All right, and we know Indians don't eat beef, so hey.
I mean, Chinese
Wow,
be
they
eating
give a
rice. It ain't
fuck.
much better.
Right.
Dude, honestly though, I would rather have a war. I would rather be in a war with guns personally than in a, because dude, imagine going to sleep at night and you know the next day you're waking up to go to battle. This is 2023. We're
No,
going
you're
to
not
battle.
going to battle. You're going to bat, bro.
Yeah, I would argue that like a death via a sword or a spear or a bat it's gonna be a lot
Dude.
slower, a lot more painful
More
than
brutal.
just getting like
Yeah.
obliterated by like an AK-47
Certainly.
or
Yeah.
like
You're
just
getting
getting blown
maimed.
up.
You're getting
mean,
maimed
like-
by blunt objects versus like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a death sentence.
Somebody
Like you
just-
could get a cut from like a rusty nail and a bat, and then like you get fucking infected. And then
Tinnitus
you
and
gotta
just
get that shit amputated. Like
Right,
Man,
the
that's
frontline
just so
supply
brutal.
can't get you your fucking
to be
tetanus
doing
shot.
that
Yeah.
in 2023,
war has yet to
I just
evolve.
honestly can't wrap my head around that. But
Where did you
Dude,
hear
yeah.
about that, Bryce?
The New York Times reported on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had a
Nobody
so-
gives a shit, I guess.
Nah, they're like, are they
I'm
white?
worried about Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, dude. Imagine seeing like Walking Dead style, your buddy get a fucking spike. And go to try to get it out. Imagine the PTSD that comes with that.
yeah,
Jesus.
for sure. For sure. It's one
Anyway,
thing
that's-
to see a man get shot. It's another to see a man get his head split open like a fucking cantaloupe.
Yeah.
100%.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's really all I got about that topic. It's just how fucking crazy it is.
That is super wild, man. It's crazy that I didn't even hear about it either until you told me about it.
It's weird. Nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
Nobody.
'Cause they're
I
not
really
deploying
think that if it
nukes
was
on
two
each
white
other,
countries,
though.
yeah, probably. Everybody was probably like, God bless. But I think if that happened, like, I don't even know. Imagine if Ireland and fucking Britain just went to war right now with swords and shields. The whole world would be like, the fuck are you guys doing?
The
But we're
whole
like,
world
you
would
know,
definitely think like, how
Yeah.
does that affect LeBron's legacy, right? I'm just reading about this. That is it's hard to believe. It's almost it's factual in nature, but it's to the point where you're like, are they lying?
Yeah. Is it true?
I mean, we see so many crazy shit coming out in the news every other day.
Yeah.
Social media. It's like it's almost like when you really sit back and think about it, you're like, okay, well, is this that much crazier than like, you know, the US talking about UFOs and all that
Epstein
other
Island.
bullshit?
Jeffrey Epstein Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I thought was wild? Was watching Mitch McConnell's brain shut off. I know
So,
that was a while ago, but Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
There's a clip that right before that happens, there's this lady, I don't know who she is, but she comes up and she
Oh,
pokes him in
fuck
the
outta
hand
here.
with something. No, seriously. There's a video that I'll link to you guys. I don't know if we can
No.
show it here. But she
No,
clearly
I think-
pokes his hand and then like he just goes blank like a few seconds after.
What
No, and
really
then, like-
happened is she goes up to his ear and whispers something, and I think she whispered
was
the
like-
Dune war chants like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I
if
don't
she
know, man.
wa-
If you
was like,
saw the
I'm gonna-
video, you might be
Hope's
enticed
his
to think
fan, huh?
otherwise.
Wow.
What if she
Sedates him.
walked up and just slid like a whisper, like, I'm gonna beatbox on your cock tonight? And he was like,
And he just
Stop that, bro. He Mitch McConnell's just in a daydream. Just yes, ma'am.
thinking about better days. God bless
He's
this
like, I remember the
country.
days I could get hard.
yeah.
Dude. Yeah, a lot of wild shit going on in the news. But I thought that was a good just one that
Yeah.
kind of slid under the radar. That's pretty wild.
No, that's
Yeah, thank you for taking the time out of your day to give us the update on that.
No problem.
I certainly used to watch
Bryce,
a
our
lot
foreign
of,
policy expert.
Right. I certainly used to
I
watch a lot
try.
of that show on Spike TV or whatever, the Deadliest
War.
Oh yeah.
And I would now the Spec Ops episodes where they were like, we deploy the Green Berets against the fucking whatever.
How did they determine
Irish
that? It made no
IRA.
sense.
It didn't make any sense. But what did
Yeah.
make sense is when you bring in blunt force objects to see
Yeah.
which is the most deadly blunt force object. Like,
Yeah.
this can penetrate this type of armor. Chainmail doesn't stand a chance against the longsword claymore. Like, that's when I was like, this is, you bring a good point. Like,
Yeah.
if the 1400s versus the 1700s was in play, like, the world would be a different place.
Yeah.
I always thought those were dumb as fuck.
I mean, it
I
was
always had,
dumb,
like-
but bro, like, what else did I have to do? I could watch that or
Yeah,
a
yeah.
thousand ways to jerk yourself off and die. Like,
Oh, dude, that
a
episode.
thousand ways to die was always sexual. I felt
Those
bad
episodes were
about watching
goated.
that. No, I felt bad about watching
Always.
that in front of my family
I
because like
loved it.
this dude
yeah,
got
yeah.
stung by the deadliest beehive while he was busting a nut and cheating on his
Yeah.
wife. Like, it was the worst show
Bro,
I have ever seen.
I'll never
Yeah, but
forget
it-
my mom coming in and watching one episode with me, and it was the episode where the guy had like the septum piercing in his cock or whatever, and he's like an
Oh.
electrician.
The
and
Prince
he,
Albert.
No, and he
Yeah.
picks this chick up and he bangs her like on a table, like up against an electrical outlet, and like the metal in his septum cock touched the electrical outlet, and it electrocuted him through his cock. and he
Bro,
died.
I can't believe DirecTV let me have that at the ripe age of fucking 10
Oh,
or
yeah.
13 or whatever.
But how awesome was it in middle school? The one that I
Yeah,
remember
exactly. Yeah.
was, it was like, this girl used this to show how deep her throat went. And she like fucking swallowed a cue ball and just choked and died. But I was like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Why is that girl doing that?
I think my dad probably sat down for like 10 minutes and looked at me. He's like, you should probably watch something else. Not for the fact
Yeah.
of like, he knew it was garbage TV. He just,
Yeah.
to the point of like, hey man, like you're deteriorating your mind at this
Yeah.
point. There
This
was
is
always
real
something.
bad.
It was always like,
Yeah, what
this
can you do?
dude, this dude, I remember an episode where a guy got locked in a freezer because he was trying to like bang his coworker and got locked in
Yeah.
the fucking freezer and froze to death. And they go into like his body will last 5 hours, but he was working the graveyard and no one was there to save
Yeah.
him. The show was a
Gotcha.
bunch of bullshit, and I can't believe it surpassed the pilot episode. If I was an employee making the decisions to like, all right, this show gets the green light or not, and I see the pilot episode, and I'm just like, oh, all right, this is, I guess it passes, and then their recipe is literally the same thing every time. You're like,
Dude, it was
wow.
great.
Episode 4.
It was great.
Episode 4, you're like, who are we talking to right now? And he's like, middle schoolers.
Yeah.
That was the target audience for sure.
Dude, the
Hey,
last
we
episode
were
I
the
wanna-
target audience, so that's for sure.
the last episode I vividly remember that was just absolutely baffling. It was one of the ones that kind of made me not like watch it too much anymore. Was the dude who like he just wanted to go to the club and like showed all the women he had like a big cock. So he
Yeah.
went to the store, bought a
Wait,
giant like
one.
pack of sausage and tied it to his leg. And all the women are like, oh, like all up on him or whatever, supposedly. But he tied it to his leg so tight that it cut the circulation off to the main artery in his leg. And he ended up
Yeah,
having a
his
heart attack
femoral
and
artery.
died.
Yeah. I like how Nathan's looking on like, I'd never watched that show. I don't know what you're talking about, but he
No,
definitely did.
I too would watch that in middle school sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
morbid show.
we've all had better days, but
Yeah,
A Thousand Ways to Die was there to save us from them. So
absolutely.
Well, my drink is almost gone, so I think it's about time to wrap up.
yeah. What do you rate the drink?
Man, 10 out of 10.
Really?
It's
Damn,
pretty good.
bro.
This drink was so good.
I got to
Good
give a little bit of
recommendation.
backstory to the audience here, because I said, "Hey, let's make a gin drink," and everyone said, "Fucking
Boo.
gross,
Yeah,
disgusting."
Yeah.
yeah.
But I went out just 2 nights ago, and I like gin drinks. Gin and tonic's pretty potent. And what's the other popular gin drink that you mentioned, Caleb?
Sipping on gin and juice.
Gin and juice. Yeah. And I thought, no, those are both disgusting. The bee's
Yeah.
knees is on another
Really
level.
good.
And I was gonna say 10 out of 10 too, but I felt like y'all might not agree. I was gonna say 10 out of 10, but on a gin scale, right? There's no better gin drink than this.
I
On a normal
I
Okay.
scale
with that.
compared to other drinks, maybe 8.5.
You know,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 on a grand scheme of drinks, but a 10 out of 10 for gin. I don't think he can make a better gin drink.
No, yeah, it's
I
good.
loved it.
Try it.
I'm hammered.
Let us
Where are
know
my
what you.
keys?
Let's go drive.
Let us know what you think of the gin
Let's
drink.
go
if you made
driving.
it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
go golfing.
Something else we should wrap up and talk about is UFC 292 was this last weekend. I don't know if anybody tuned in and watched that, but boy, oh boy. In my opinion, that was such a fire card. The Sugar Show. You are the man. You're the man.
I didn't think he could get it done. I was a little nervous, and
100%.
fucking Dana White don't come after me, but I didn't pay for it, and I still watched it. And god damn, he hit him with that right, bro.
Dude,
damn.
yeah.
And I was not too invested, but I always love to watch Sean O'Malley fight. And I thought, oh man, Sean O'Malley, he wasn't backing down. He looked like he had an aggressive stance on him, but it also looked like he didn't know what to do against him. I guess he was just being patient. I guess he was just being patient because he rocked him. He let him have it.
It looked like he was waiting. Like as soon as he overextended at all, that was going to be the fight.
What's crazy is if you watch like his Instagram and stuff like that, that move that he did, that practiced it, like it was so obvious. Like if Aljo paid any attention, like that was coming. And I mean, I think Aljo even knew it, but it was just so perfect. I mean, Aljo's left was right there. Just inches, not even inches, centimeters, millimeters away.
He had that mechanical advantage of reach. What do you think, Nathan?
Did you guys see that clip with it was like Conor McGregor's finish was almost like identical to his.
Just right. Just one was the right, one was the left, but it's the same
up with the hammer fist on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think he like took nah, he didn't, like there was no intention there. Like, do you think that he kind of looks to Conor for like inspiration in his fighting style? Like they're both, really heavy strikers. Like
I think if you're a striker,
more like on the social media scale of like the personality level, Sean O'Malley probably wants to be as big as Conor McGregor was in terms of like just the sheer capital that he had over the UFC.
His money outside of the UFC.
Style. I mean, I think it definitely seems like social media. He's like that. He's like that dude.
Yeah,
bro, he's like the golden boy of America. Like, dude, especially Boston, fighting in Boston.
Dude came from Montana.
I've been to Boston, bro. People get Dana White. I think his story about getting his ass beat was in Boston. Dana White got beat to shit in Boston because people in Boston don't fuck around. And I've been to Boston a couple times now, and those people are hard as nails, man. But they're also nice. So it's just like, which side do you want to be on? The side where you see the nice side of Bostonians, or do you want to get your ass beat in the fucking alleyway? And it seems like Sean O'Malley did he grow up fighting people in Boston? Like the city loved him.
Yeah. I think
they did love him though.
Yeah. Answering Nathan's question though, I think if you just look at like strikers versus like wrestlers, like I kind of compared before the fight Sugar Sean to Izzy, who unfortunately I'm not a big fan of, but they're both like a little bit bigger for their division. And there's two things that they do that I think just really you can compare them to. They control space so well. And when you control space like that, it makes a wrestler's advantage completely Like it completely takes it out entirely. And then so that's why like the counters when they're coming in with crosses are always there. And then the other
Yeah,
thing that they
both-
both do
Yeah,
is
both
when
huge counter strikers for sure.
yeah, exactly. And then the other thing that they do that's crazy that only they can do because of their size advantage is when people do get a hold of them, is I don't know what it's called. I'm not the smartest when it comes to stuff, but they get the overhooks on their back. And because of that, they have absolutely no like ability to take them down and stuff. And you can only do that if you're taller than your opponent, which Izzy
Okay.
and Sugar Sean almost always are. And they both do that always. Sugar Sean did it on Aljo the one time he got a near takedown on him in the first round. Izzy does it all the time.
I thought it was interesting in the first round how Sean O'Malley was fighting in southpaw, and he was getting leg kicked, and he got a good. I think he got 2 good leg kicks, and from the rest of the fight, he was swapping back and forth.
Yeah.
In the first round, but then the second round came to be, and it seemed like that was just not a factor at all. Sean O'Malley was just standing in southpaw, and there was no leg kicks involved. It was just like, I think Aljo just like spaced on that ability to leg kick, because that leg kicks I've seen for the amount of big name fights that I've seen, leg kicks always have come into play, and like to see a fight that ends by leg kick is not very interesting. But it is definitely a very tactical approach to a fight. Yeah. And so I just think Aljo like should have relied on that more. But obviously,
I mean, that's what he did against Peter Yan too.
Based on what Sean O'Malley was saying, by the way, his post-fight press conference was fucking baller.
Yeah.
When they were like, all 3 judges had the first round 10-9, and he was kind of smug the way he said it, and he was like, "Oh, what'd they score the second round?" Oh,
yeah,
what a bar.
Yeah.
But based on what he was saying, and who knows, he's probably just capping, but he was saying that all the leg kicks landed shin to shin. So he was like, I was checking him.
But he switched his stance. He didn't want no more of that.
Yeah.
Who would? Dude. But
yeah. Imagine just slamming your shin into another shin. It would hurt. The advantage is you don't get fucking dead leg, but
right.
And maybe you break his leg. But golly, I don't want no part of that.
Like Anderson Silva back in the day.
Lord.
That was Conor McGregor
UFC fights. Yeah, Conor McGregor broke his.
Chris Weidman just came back from his leg injury this card, and that was a bad fight. Poor guy tore his ACL or his MCL or both. So hopefully he retires.
Yeah.
I love a good UFC fight.
Weili Zhang was also worth talking about. Weili Zhang rolls in women's blood. That's a Chinese woman I would not mess with. 125 pounds of anger.
She can pick up Francis Ngannou. I saw a clip of her literally grabbing Francis by the leg and hoisting him over her shoulder.
Wow. That's terrifying.
And that dude's almost 300 pounds, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He has to cut weight to make the heavyweight limit. Yeah.
Wow.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, she's strong, man.
I think she's gonna finish as the woman GOAT.
I love it. I think women fights
I don't have anything to say about it.
70% of the time are more entertaining. What's the next big fight? What's the next big UFC card? Is there
Izzy and Strickland in a couple of weeks technically, but that card's kind of bad besides Izzy and Strickland. Everyone keeps getting hurt. Kai Kara France just got a concussion, so he pulled out. So that's sorry, Uncle Dana, but pirate that one too.
Hey, yeah, like I said, bro, I'll watch it whether or not I pay for it.
Who knows?
Yeah. The one after that, those fire in Abu Dhabi. We get to watch Cum Shot and Chen Chen versus fucking Costa. The secret juice man.
We'll have to give our opinions on it and then see what the outcome is and go from there. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to episode 4.